Oh, here's another one. This is actually, I don't know if I've ever told this story. This is actually just I actually regret doing this, but I was in primary school. I found out like just that you can just lie and you can just say things that aren't true. Like I remember we used to have we had this art teacher who was a horrible bitch, and she was a horrible, mean person to all of the kids. Everyone didn't like her, and it wasn't like we were being naughty and we got yelled at. She was actually mean, but never in a way that was like child abuse or nothing like huge. It was just like really mean all the time, but nothing that you could really complain about, especially because you're like, you're in year 6. How old are you? Like 11, 12?
Yeah.
Right? So we as a group, as a class, decided to make up a bunch of things that this woman did to us and complain to the principal as a group to get her in trouble, to scare her into being nice to us. And what we did was, this is really fucked, but I remember our friend group was into painting Warhammer figures, little plastic miniatures. I said that she came over and stomped on them on purpose. I said she came over to us at lunchtime. We were having a bunch of fun and just playing with our little men. And she came over and said, these are stupid, and then stomped on them and then walked away. And I think it was 6 other boys went and complained to the principal about that, and we organized it. We said we're going to tell her that she stepped on the miniatures. We're going to tell them that she screamed at a kid. We're going to say that this other kid, she grabbed him by the collar and shook him around. None of it was true, right? She was a horrible, mean person, but she was not this bad. We just wanted to scare the fuck out of her, and it got escalated real quick because we went as a group of 6 boys. And we all complained and we all backed each other up and we all got separated and pulled out of class. I remember what happened to me. I got pulled out of class and it was the vice principal and he took me on a walk around the school. And I feel like it was like one of those moments where I was like, I know what I'm doing is really, really wrong, but I've come this far and I can't stop. And he was like, so what happened? I told him all the stories again. And then she took 2 weeks off and she came back and she was really nice. So it worked.
That's crazy.
Isn't that fucked? I feel so bad. Oh, we were 11 and 12. We didn't really know what we were doing. It was like this thing of like, it was, it was probably my idea because I was such a ringleader. In primary school, I was a bit of a gang leader. And then in high school, because I wasn't drinking and doing drugs, I was a bit of a loner. But in primary school, I was a year older than most of the kids and I was really big. So I was like the leader. And we would run around doing a bunch of different shit, throwing sticks at cars, and all this stuff was just my idea. And this one was my idea. And we all just submitted this series of false complaints about one teacher. We all told the same 6 stories. They verified it. None of it was true. And I guess she got put on leave for a little bit.
That's crazy.
They took it really seriously, as they should, because it sounded true. Like we weren't like, oh, then she chopped one of the kids' heads off. We told these stories that were like bad enough to not be child abuse, but were bad enough to be like something a teacher should not ever do. And yeah, she went on leave for 2 weeks, and you know what? It fixed her right up. She was real nice, and she was really nice for the next 2 years. So some might say, myself included, that was a horrible thing to do to someone else, but other people might say it actually benefited the world as a whole. So it was like it was the wrong thing to do, but it had a great outcome on the well-being of every kid in our art class. So I do regret doing it, but I do acknowledge the massive benefits that all the kids received, and you're welcome.
That's fucked up, that one.
Isn't that fucked?
Yeah.
Imagine being her, because you're a kid and you don't know what actually would happen. But as an adult, you know exactly what happened. They would have pulled her in like her boss. Because for me, I'm a kid. That's the principal. That's her boss. That's the guy that employs her. It would have been the boss. It would have been HR. It would have been maybe someone from the government. And they would have gone, okay, so you have accusations of abuse from 6 students. And she would have gone, I didn't do any of this. And she would have been right. They would have been like, well, little Timmy and Lewis and James and Marty and Sam and Tim all said that you stomped on their Warhammer miniatures on purpose, called them silly, and then walked away. I didn't do any of that shit. They're lying. Oh, really? 6 11-year-old boys are all lying? They all told the same story. What about when you grabbed Timmy by the collar and shook him? I didn't do that. Didn't you? 2 weeks leave. You do it again, you're fired. But she was really nice after that.
That's crazy. What was her name?
I can't even remember. She was like she was like 40 something. She had short hair. Maybe she had glasses. I can't even remember what she looked. All I know is she was such a mean person.
Yeah.
She was really, really, some teachers, they're not even bad teachers. They don't even do anything like particularly wrong. They're just very mean spirited. And if they get you alone, they'll say something mean to you. She was that. So you know what? She deserved it. And I was 100% right. And I'd do it again. I wouldn't actually. I feel awful about that. It's like, yeah, it's just one of those things where like you're just a kid and you have no idea the repercussions of lies that you can tell. That's awful. I've never done anything like that since. But, maybe that was a little bit of practice for getting all those fake stories on the news, I was like, oh, you can just lie about an adult and they'll believe it. Cool. Bit of practice. Good stuff.
One more high school story. I did a VCE year 11 at TAFE in Frankston with my friend Rafi.
Yeah.
And Rafi never got along with any of the teachers, but I happened to get along with every single one, on a very friendly basis. And at the very end of the year, we're doing this final project. I've done it. He's asked to look at mine. And I said, sure, but just change the words so that it's not the same answer.
Yep.
I get a call from one of our teachers, Michelle, and she goes, hey, just had a look at your final assignment. You didn't copy Rafi by chance, did you?
That's so good because if you don't know, Rafi looks Asian. So that's a little bit of racism from the teacher there. Gone, the white kid must have copied the Asian kid.
Actually, we both then started laughing and she goes, I know you didn't copy Rafi, but you shouldn't have let him look at it. I could have failed you for this. Anyway, have a good summer.
That's good.
And then I think Rafi failed year 11 legal.
That's good. Oh, man. Yeah, I failed high school so badly that they didn't even tell me what my ATAR result was, which I think you have to get